All right, sure. So we good now. We good.
We live?
So this is yeah, we live. So it's the first episode of Rewind Radio. This is a podcast. Me and my boy Naj starting. It's about nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? All things nostalgic. All things nostalgia. We're gonna be covering a range of things from like nostalgia from video games, from snacks, from black sitcoms. Um, everything. Wrestling back in the day. Me and Najee's born in the '90s, so that's a special time. And nostalgia is selling crazy right now. So, um, we just come with this podcast because it's just fun to talk about nostalgia. It's fun to talk about, the past. Things have changed a lot from back then, from what it is now. So, yeah, we just gonna have a range of topics. Have fun with it. Keep it nice and natural. So, I'm blessed. And go ahead, Najee. Talk. You introduce yourself.
On top of just talking about nostalgia, we're going to be talking about why we feel nostalgia towards certain things, TV show, movies, certain moments in life, certain foods, certain video games. Would we still feel as strong towards those mediums today if we participated in those things, or if we viewed those things today, and what the difference is now between some of the mediums we used to consume, like TV shows, movies, video games, and other stuff, and yeah, what the difference is now between those things in the past and those things today, and objectively, if they're actually better, or it's just nostalgia that we're using to view it. We're reviewing it from the perspective of nostalgia. But it's gonna be a lot of conversations about a lot of different topics, a lot of in-depth conversations.
Facts, facts, facts. Couldn't have said it better myself. All right, so where you want to start? You want to start with the first question you got up here
Well,
on this topic? You
well,
got
before that, since we're going to be talking about different things, we should talk about what every time we start. We should talk about the first topic. What the topic will be for the day. Today's topic is video games.
oh,
We're talking about the video games we played in our youth and why we enjoy them, why they make us feel nostalgic today, and why some games make us feel nostalgic today. Some games we played when we were younger do not make us feel nostalgic. Why we remember certain moments from these games, what was enjoyable about them, and if we'd enjoy them playing them today. So today the topic is video games. You want to ask the first question, or you want me to?
go ahead. Ask the first question.
So my question is this: out of all the video games that you feel nostalgic about, right? Before we get into what games they are, what would you say those games have in common?
Uh, I mean, well, video games is kind of like it's like I mean, if you're getting into like game design, I guess graphics. Graphics would be like a major thing for sure. Like a lot of if you was born like in the Nintendo 64 era or like there's just the Nintendo era where games were like 16-bit and 32-bit. I guess that's like something that's a real nostalgic. I guess something they have in common with like the pixel art, and that's why I like a lot of indie games today. They go for that pixel art aesthetic because it automatically makes you feel nostalgic. So I guess the technology behind it. So that was like the pixel art and like when I go back and play old PS2 games and stuff like that, it's always like this certain type of gameplay loop, like with Jack and Dexter or Ratchet and Clank. They have this like a similar like kind of gameplay loop, you know. So I guess that's something they got in common. I would definitely say pixel art for sure. I feel like that's something the games back then have in common.
Understandable.
What about you?
For me, I'd say immersion. Like the immersion in the gameplay, graphics play a major factor, but the characters, the gameplay, and the story mode, like playing it back then, you'd feel like you really were enveloped in the story that you were participating in. It'd be like a movie or a TV show that you can actually participate in yourself. And when I think about a lot of these games that I enjoyed or that give me that like nostalgic feeling of warmth, it's a lot of games that who had great cutscenes, were really enjoyable, had in-depth stories, and the gameplay. Sometimes a lot of these games, the gameplay like wasn't even too in-depth or too innovative. It was kind of simplistic, but if the story was good enough, then playing those simple games were worth it, and you could overlook that, especially when you were a kid. An example of that for me would be
Mm-hmm.
Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal. It was the first Ratchet and Clank game I played. I had no idea what that series was. I didn't know what game I was playing. I just played it on my PS2 and I played it, and I enjoyed the character of Ratchet and Clank. Like I wouldn't say a buddy cop duo, but the tag team duo. They were interesting enough. They weren't the most interesting characters, but the story was good, and the gameplay, like allowing you to upgrade your weapons, is was very interesting to me. That I had never seen that feature at the time. I never played a game that allowed you to upgrade all your weapons 2 or 3 times. Made it, it made it so when you were fighting bosses, you weren't just, or when you were grinding through levels, even though all the enemies looked the same, it wasn't a repetitive experience because now you're fighting these enemies with new weapons. Sometimes the enemies will get even harder. So when I think about nostalgia, to me, it was the immersion of these games, the immersion of these experiences, that the story mode, or the characters, or the gameplay, sometimes all three of them, that makes me feel nostalgic towards these games. Do you have an example?
Nah, I think I want to touch on that because I think it's interesting you say the immersion because I feel like one can argue that the immersion into like the games nowadays, like the modern games, are better than the immersion it is back then. So do you feel like you were more immersed because of like the nostalgia, like you're thinking about it from a nostalgia point of view, or do you feel like just like a classic PS2 game had better immersion than something like a Red Dead Redemption 2. You know what I'm saying? Because like the mechanics and the graphics and just everything, those all are an important factor of an immersion, and that gets better and better in modern gaming. So how come you like? Do you think that it's just a nostalgia that made you more immersed back then, or like do you really think it's just like the cutscenes and stuff? Like give me an example, or like another example. I know you said Ratchet and Clank, but like as far as story mode, what story mode you feel like you were really immersed in?
A story mode game I was really immersed in. I'd say Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. It was a
Mm,
really, really good story mode. I was, when I played, I was a little kid, maybe 8 or 10 years old. I had no concept of military games or military strategy or like government warfare. Those things weren't really interesting to me. But that game had really,
yeah.
really interesting characters, really interesting cutscenes. The plot was amazing. The gameplay was amazing. It wasn't just, a game where you had to run and beat someone up, although you could, which also made it more interesting because they offered that as an option. But it's a game where you had to figure out how to beat levels using the character's intelligence and using your own intelligence. It's a game where you are fighting bosses who had superpowers or some variation of superhuman strength or speed, and you had to figure out how to beat these characters. To me, when you speak about immersion, and nowadays it's kind of outside factors because nowadays you have other things that we didn't have back then that kind of cut into immersion. Back then, when you're a kid, you could pull out your cell phone in the middle of a cutscene because you didn't have a cell phone. You had to focus on what you were doing. Nowadays, you have laptops, cell phones. You have so many things that could distract you. So you have to today nowadays you have to try to be immersed in the game you're playing, which doesn't speak on
Okay.
whether or not it doesn't mean that the games back then were more immersive than the games today. But nowadays, it's harder to immerse yourself because you have to actively try. On top of that, unfortunately, it's I'm not gonna say it's rare, but most games that are really, really popular today are games with established IPs, like studios taking chances on new games. Not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna say it's rare, but it's not the same as before. Now, if you play Ratchet and Clank, you know what you get into, and it's an enjoyable game. But when you were younger and you played it, it was probably an amazing experience because you're a kid seeing this for the first time.
Yeah, I feel like not having that sense of like responsibility and no bills, nothing like that. It definitely that could be more of a arguable better way to immerse in the game than the actual graphics and mechanics itself. Because I remember playing like Pokemon, and like, boy, I tell you, I was immersed as like a motherfucker in that game. And that's just like, that's like pixels. Like I'm talking about Pokemon on the Game Boy SP, and that's just like pixel art and shit like that. But that shit was really, really immersive because being a kid, having that little screen so close to my face, like I really felt like I was a trainer and I was catching these Pokemon, and I'm like, like that. I felt more immersed in that game than I do something like a Last of Us, which is like Last of Us was a lot more grounded, better graphics and stuff like that. So that's supposed to be more immersive, but like I said back then, I definitely was like more immersed in something like a Pokemon. So I guess immersion counts. Like I guess immersion is you also got to factor in your
Yeah,
age and stuff like that when it comes to immersion, which
outside
is which is
factors,
interesting.
unfortunately, which is understandable, but there are outside
Yeah,
factors. To me, also,
yeah, for
for
sure.
certain games, there was a reward system. Like a game like Pokemon had a reward system. That's why some games also that also plays a big factor into immersion that I didn't think about when I spoke on my answer before. Certain games had reward systems. Ratchet and Clank had a reward system. Pokemon had a reward system. Of course, you'd be more immersed. On Pokemon, you
So
you kind of play the game, see your Pokemon evolve. That that level of dopamine, that reward is especially when you're a kid, is very enjoyable, and it can motivate a kid to play that game for a long period of time because you're not just beating a level. You're beating a level while you're beating a level on top of grinding to make your Pokemon evolve. On top of grinding to catch more Pokemon. On top of playing the story.
yeah. So let me ask you, what was the first game you felt like? I mean, what was the last game you felt like you were like truly immersed in?
The last game I felt like I was truly immersed in. Hmm. Um, I'd say honestly, well, I would say Fallout 4, but that's not like a traditional story game. So I wouldn't say that. Like the last like traditional story game I've sat there and said I was really immersed in probably God of War 4. I was really immersed.
Hmm. I mean, I feel like Fallout can also count, but I get what you're saying. But Fallout can
Fallout is
count.
not traditional, like it's good, but it's not like a traditional story game. That's the only thing to me. But I was really
Yeah.
immersed in God of War because of the story. The story was really good. Gameplay was really, really fun. But unfortunately, even though I can immerse myself in these games, like I said, because of the environment and outside factors, I don't like there isn't a level of immersion. Like I wouldn't have the same level of, I guess, immersion that I had in certain games. I can tell you off the top of my head when I was younger. Not even like 8 or 10, like when I was a teenager. Like I, as far as I remember, right? I can tell you two games right now that I was like fully immersed in some of the best games I ever played in my life. Mirror's Edge and Modern Warfare 2. But Mirror's Edge is one of my favorite games of all time. And what's crazy about that
Yeah.
is I didn't realize that until a couple days ago when I thought about it. I was like, yo, I love that game. Like, I guess that was probably a couple years before responsibilities actually hit. And that's not, the best game in the world. But to me, the time I played it, I played it and I was all alone. I beat it. The story was good. It was very interactive. To me, because of that, like that's another thing with outside factors, it was an amazing game. Like I have nothing but fond memories of that game. And the main character, I don't think she talks about the entire game.
Yeah. For sure. And you said the other one was Modern Warfare 2. I mean, Modern Warfare 2 was like a time to be
Of
alive. You know
course.
what I'm saying? Like that
But
was,
I'm not when I say
yeah,
Modern
it was.
Warfare 2, I'm not even talking about online. The story. The story for Modern Warfare 2 was so good. I paused the
Mm.
game in the middle of it and went and played Call of Duty 4 and beat that story.
Dude. I would say that the last game I was fully immersed in was probably Elden
Elden
Ring,
Ring?
and I know you can. Yeah, Elden Ring, and that's not like a
Yeah.
traditional story either, like a God of War or something like that. But like the sense of like a lot of games are like very structured
Hmm.
nowadays. Like the sense of exploration in that game, like when I turned it on, and then like I was able to just like go anywhere on the
Hmm.
map and like I have no prior knowledge to any like this world at all. It's
Hmm.
just everything is new to me. Everything is fresh. I'm collecting these new weapons and new powers, fighting these bosses. Like it was just like, bro, I played that game for like 8 hours
Hmm.
straight one day, which I don't really
Hmm.
do anymore, like I used to do back in the
Hmm.
day. But like I was like really, I was really into it. Like it was really fun, and like it was really just that sense of exploration what had me immersed. Like there was no like no icons, like no GPS icons telling me, oh yeah, you got to go there or you got to go
Yeah.
here. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Hmm.
It was like it kind of forced the immersion on it because I had to like really just explore and figure out the world on my own, figure out where to go on my own and stuff like that. So I would say Elden Ring for sure for me.
It's funny you say that because I think as we get older, as we get older as well, games with I'm not gonna say games with less structure are always more immersive, but we start to appreciate certain games that have, I guess, less guidelines. Like Fallout 4. I realized a couple months ago in the middle of playing it, I said it's one of my favorite games of all time now because they have an option in Fallout 4 where you can build settlements. And you can build settlements and actually help people. And you can literally change the world in Fallout 4. Like you can literally help people in need.
Yeah,
And I was like, I love this feature. This is one of the best features I've ever played. And it's one of the best features I've ever seen in the game in a long time. And that's this feature is what makes it my favorite. One of my favorites. It's not like the fighting or anything like that, because that stuff is cool. But this feature, I can go to this town, I can build houses, I can build beds, I can come back here at 12 in the morning and I can see people sleeping in the beds. They can say thank you, I can send them on missions, I can help more people. I can go to different towns and do this, I can grow food, I can grow water. I'm like, this is amazing. I love this feature. That's what made it one of my favorite games. But
yeah, it had a certain level of like simulation tied
hmm
to it for sure. Yeah.
and that I feel like that works for us because we're older now. So our level of immersion is different because we can't sit there and forget about, you know, the other things that are going on in our life. So when we see that, we see something we can immerse ourselves in where we can make a change in, even though it's something virtual or something like Elden Ring where you could just play and travel and find things to do, find monsters to fight, level up, just enjoy yourself, test your skills, and not have to worry about, going to the next mission or if you forget about your progress in a week or if you forget about where you are. It makes the game a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, so immersion and pixel art, those are, I guess,
I have a question.
some important factors to these games. Yeah, go ahead.
First, tell me another two games that make you feel nostalgic. Matter of fact, three. Matter of fact, three. Tell me three games that make you feel nostalgic. Games you haven't mentioned yet.
All right, let me see. Let me see. Three games. I'm gonna think about something I've been playing, like some games I've been playing recently. Like there's just so much. All right, so Donkey Kong
Hmm.
64. That's the first one, and Donkey Kong 64 holds a like a really special place in my heart because that was my like I got that when I was 5 years old, and I'm almost certain that was my first console I ever got. I got the limited edition green Donkey Kong 64
Wow, that's a good one.
Nintendo 64 console. Yeah, yeah, and it has had the yellow cartridge and everything. Like that's one of those games like I literally still go back to this day and like play just because of like how it makes me feel. And so that's like one of my most favorite games. And that also was like that classic era of collectathon
Hmm.
games where like you got to collect a bunch of stuff. Like Donkey Kong 64 has a bunch of different kinds of bananas you got to collect, and you got to collect a bunch of different golden bananas to progress through the game and stuff like
Hmm.
that. It was like a classic 3D platformer. So Donkey Kong 64 for sure always makes me feel nostalgic. Another one I have is damn, I just had it. I'm gonna say the classic Resident Evil games. The classic Resident Evil games with the tank controls where you gotta like twist your body all slow, and what I'm saying, like you can't move the character and turn at the
Yeah,
same time. You gotta move your character forward, then turn and then move
I know
forward type
exactly what you
shit.
mean.
Um, yeah, yeah, that makes me feel nostalgic. That was also like some of the like I have really fond memories of that because I used to watch my cousins play that, and like I used to have like a real sense of fear playing that game, but it was a fun sense of fear. Like I'm one of those people
I kid you not.
who used to watch like
I,
horror
I know
movies and stuff
exactly
like
what you
that for
mean.
fun.
Like there will be time I used to watch my brothers play that. And I kid you not, when they will open the door, do you remember when they will open you open the door in that game and they will open really slowly?
Yeah,
It'll be
yeah,
dark.
yeah,
I'll literally me and my sister
yeah.
would be like on the edge of our bed. Like, oh, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Or like, all right, so sorry, go ahead. I'll talk about it after. Go ahead.
No, no, facts. So they open the door and the stairs too. Like when you walk up
And
the
it's
stairs, it's
slow.
like, yeah, it's all
You
slow
open up
and
the
shit.
stairs, or when
Like,
you're about to fight a boss, and you're like, that's three herbs. That's kind of interesting. A save point. Is that a big frozen monster? Oh
yeah,
no. And like you know something's gonna happen.
yeah, yeah. They prepped you. They prepped you for sure. And my last one I'm gonna say is Super Mario World,
Hmm.
the one from the Super Nintendo, and that's nostalgic for me because that was like that's some of my earliest memories of actually playing video
Hmm.
games. Like before the Nintendo 64, I used to play a lot at my cousin's house, and yeah, that was one of the games we used to sit there all day and try to beat. And I remember like getting the different color Yoshis, and I remember a lot of like the way the map expanded and like the secret levels we would find and stuff like that. Like it was just like, and that's the point where I think if I'm not wrong, that's when um pixel art went from 16 to
Hmm.
32 or even 32, yeah, 16 to 32 bit. So the pixel art was like really nice, and it was just dope. And one thing I started doing recently too, like when I go back and I play these old games, I put they have like shaders. It's called CRT shaders. So you can make you can make the screen that you're playing on. You can make it look like the classic bubble TV, and they got the lines and shit like
Wow.
that. Like I want all I want all the pure, like we spoke about with immersion. I want the whole immersion of the nostalgia,
Hmm.
of the nostalgia of when I used to play these games. Like I've even thought about buying a bubble TV just so I can play these games on it. To be honest.
I can definitely understand
But
that.
yeah, those are my
But
three.
I have a follow-up question based on those three. Tell me one memory from
Yeah,
each of those games, like one in-game memory from each of those games.
one in game memory. All right, so Resident Evil 2, right? I remember, like I said, I used to watch my cousins play the Resident Evil games. But then I remember when I actually had it on my own, I was able to play at my house. My mom bought it. And I'll never forget this, bro. Like I used to love watching him play Resident Evil, and when I was over there, I used to play sometimes myself. So I'm a kid. I got my Nintendo 64. It's early in the day. I'm out with my mom shopping. She's gonna buy me a game, so she bought me Resident Evil 2 for the Nintendo 64. This is my first time owning it by myself, so I'm all excited. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go home and play Resident Evil 2. I get home, for some when I was able to actually play it, it was a little darker outside, or maybe that's just my memory. But I get home, I put the cartridge in. It was like it do the little opening screen like Resident Evil 2,
Hmm.
and I'm like, oh hell no, I ain't playing this. I was like, I'm playing this in the morning. I turned that shit right off, and I was excited to go home and play it. I turned that shit right off. I'm like, nah, I'm playing this in the morning, boy. I was scared as hell. I'm like, I ain't playing this game right now. I'm like, I'm good on that. So that was one specific memory I have of Resident Evil. But Donkey Kong 64,
But
just like that was of course that was my first console. You was about to say
I was
something?
about to say, by the way, that counts. But I'm also talking about like stuff that happened in the game that you're not playing. So, so like an
Uh,
example would be like, oh, I remember like my favorite memory from playing Last of Us is when um I had to shoot the guy that was trying to kidnap Elle because I was so surprised that he tried to do that, like something like that. Even though the Resident Evil 1 counts because you actually played
yeah,
the game and it just scared the shit out of you.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, with that, I guess the liquors. Like I remember going in that second door room and you see the liquors and like the graphics, like the graphics that they showed the liquors
Hmm.
in. Boy, like we're coming from like we're gradually watching graphics evolve.
Hmm.
So to see that CGI with the liquor
Hmm.
and he stick his tongue out and that shit was
And
just
then jumping off
nasty.
the wall.
Another
Hmm.
specific memory, yeah, yeah, for sure. And another specific memory too is like in the first Resident Evil game that uh that when you're in the mansion and you meet your first zombie, and it goes to that CGI, and like he's eating the guy, and, and his head turns around really slowly. Like
Hmm.
those moments of like with the CGI was just like really really creepy.
Makes sense.
But what? Yeah, what's the Donkey Kong 64? Man, I have so many memories with that game. I remember the train cart level. That was really fun. Like it was there was like a bunch of mini games like inside the game too. So like the train cart was like a mini game, and I remember like that shit being so hard. I remember a specific memory where you got to fight this boss. Like it's like this Jack in the Box boss, and you playing as Tiny because you had certain bosses you had to use certain characters. So you're
Hmm.
playing as Tiny Kong, and bro, I could not beat this boss for nothing. So I remember some of my mom, some of my mom friends, they had to beat the boss for me, and I remember just watching them like beat the boss, and I was just like really excited. But that shit was hard, bro.
That's pretty funny.
And yeah, yeah, that shit was hard. Super Mario World. Uh, I just, me and my cousin used to play that game a lot. For some reason, the different color Yoshis really like point out to me. Like I don't remember when we got the different color Yoshis, and I was playing that game recently. I was playing it probably like a couple months ago, and I'm unlocking the world map. I'm getting far, and it's like, yo, I swear there's like this one point in this game where like you will unlock the secret color Yoshis a little early, but I don't know. Like I don't know. My memory's a little foggy with that game.
You went way back with the PS1 Nintendo games. I'm not gonna lie, though, like
Yeah.
those old Nintendo colors, bro. I saw a picture of them recently. Amazing, bro. Oh my gosh, got this dirty controller on here. Those games, bro. Those old Nintendos, amazing, bro. The colors, like the see-through green, see-through purple, translucent green, translucent purple, amazing colors.
Oh
I don't know,
yeah,
yo.
yeah.
I'm be honest. They made a PS5 or Xbox in that color. It will sell out so fast.
Nah, for sure. Facts.
Um.
But I heard recently they got like an update on PlayStation right now to where they you could change the
Mhm.
intro to the PlayStation
Mhm.
5. So you could have like the PS1 intro or the PS2 intro when you boot up your console. It's like for the anniversary edition right now.
It's actually um really cool. It's really cool. Um, for me,
Yeah. Yo, you cut out, bro.
for me, I'd say you can hear me now, right?
Yeah, yeah, you
I'd
good, you
say
good.
three games, three moments. I'd say okay. One would be um, let me see, Sonic Adventure 2, of course, of course.
Oh yeah, yeah, facts.
Sonic Adventure 2, Metal Gear Solid, Sons of Liberty, and
hmm
I'd say DMC. No, you know what? I won't say
Okay,
DMC.
look, the first one.
Yeah, and,
Okay,
and
okay.
instead of DMC, I'd say hmm. SmackDown, I'm pretty sure it's Here Comes the Pain, right?
Oh yeah, Brock Lesnar on the
Mm-hmm.
cover.
Sonic Adventure 2, of course, the moment everybody remembers is you being chased through the city by the truck. Amazing moment. I love that game. Really immersive. One of my favorite games of all time. And it's
Yeah.
funny I say that one of my favorite games of all time because I realized I have to make a new list. I have to make a nostalgia list and I have to make a new list because it's very unfair for me to do that. I have to make a new list. Um, but being chased through the city, very, very, very fun. Playing with Knuckles, punching the cliffs, trying to find the Chaos Emeralds, seeing Shadow for the first time, amazing. Um, Metal Gear Solid Sons of Liberty was the first game I've ever played. At the time, was the best story mode I've ever seen in my entire life. It was the first game I ever played with an actual twist.
Mm.
Like I don't know if you remember that game, but there's like one of the guys that's helping you, the scientist guy. There's a mission where I think his sister dies. At the time, it was like the first video game,
hmm
serious video game that I'd ever seen. I was like, no way, she comes back, right? And Power Rangers they always come back. She's about to come back. No way, no way, no way, she's gonna come back. And she actually
Yeah.
died. One memory I'd say from that game is towards the end of the game, when a general is helping you, you start to notice things are kind of weird, and you're like, wait a second, are you even real? And he just starts going crazy and saying random things. I don't know if you remember that. And you find out he was never real the whole time. He was basically like a computer glitch.
On the general, like on the
Yeah, an
intercom
intercom
speakers.
speaker.
Oh shit! No, I don't remember that.
It
I don't
was a
remember
pretty crazy experience. Pretty crazy. I was like, wow.
that.
Mind you, it's the first game I ever really played myself. Like I used to watch my brothers play this game,
Mhm.
right? I used to watch my brothers play PS1. I used to watch them play Resident Evil. And the Sons of Liberty I actually played myself. It was one of the first games I actually sat there and played. Amazing game.
Yeah.
Amazing game.
Nah, I love Sons of Liberty. It's definitely one of my favorite games too. Like that's my
That was
shit.
one of the, so for me, before I get to the third game, one thing about video games they didn't have in the past that I guess made them more made them more memorable, and I guess is a good and bad thing, is when you beat it, that would be the end of the game. Like you just sit there, like you just finished a TV show, like wow. There's no new game plus, there's no
Mhm.
like going to talk to people. This is the end of it. I remember beating Metal Gear Solid Sons of Liberty and just sitting there like wow, wow, wow. Like you couldn't do anything else. I remember beating it to like I'm like watching the credits, watching the last black screen, watching the thank you screen, and just being like, wow, this is this is insane. Wow, what happened to the characters? There's no fan fiction here. I don't know what happened. Wow. Just being completely shocked. Sit there thinking about it for days. That's one thing I appreciate
Yeah.
that games nowadays have.
Could you go back and replay that? Could you go back and replay that right
Yes,
now?
I think that's I don't think I can go back and replay all the games, all nostalgia games I have. I like, maybe I can. But I'm confident I can go back and play that. Confident.
Okay.
SmackDown, here comes the pain. So I was going to choose DMC, right? I'll give it an honorable mention. I remember DMC, there's this level, like there were certain levels in DMC where like you find a chest or something and you pick up the chest and the walls will close and and they had like the red mist or whatever because you have to fight monsters to get out the level. And I remember there's this one level
Mhm.
where you hear this clown laughing. And I'll never forget that clown laugh. I don't know what, it wasn't like a major boss or anything like that. For some reason, that always stuck with me. That clown laugh from that one particular level. That, and at the end, when he was fighting Mundus, and they had one of the cringe, and I think this was the first time in my life I ever really like knew what cringe was before I even knew the word. He was talking to Mundus, and he killed Triss, and he's talking to Trish, and he's like, "Why did you die? You're supposed to fill my dark soul with light, light, light." And I was like, that is very weird. I'm 8 years old, and I know that's very weird. That's kind of strange. This is a good game, but all right, I'm gonna come back to this in 10 years. And I never forgot that. But SmackDown Here Comes the Pain,
That's funny.
it took me several years to find this on YouTube. I mean, I spent years looking. When you beat the game, right? And the end credits they basically show the entrances from different stars, right? And they play this song from
Mhm.
Hulk Hogan theme song. I think it's Hulk Hogan theme song. No, it's not Hulk Hogan, because he's one of the entries of the show. I think the name of the song is True American. I never. That was probably the first. That was probably the most important. It was definitely the best, but it was the most memorable end credits for a video game I've ever seen in my entire life. That was the first end credits for a game I ever really liked. I ever really liked and watched over and thought about. The first one that ever stuck with me, one like 1,000,000%. I remember watching the end credits for that game and being so mesmerized. It was the first time I had really seen like music in a game utilized in that way. Like you beat the game, you feel accomplished, you feel like you did it. Like I did this. This is me. Like I beat this game. It took so long. And they played that song and it
Yeah.
really made you feel like you were in the game. Like I continue to see it. It took me so long to find that on YouTube. And I paid it. It's one of the first things I ever paid
Yeah.
my
Send
favorites.
me the scene. I'll shit. Shit, so definitely send it to
It's
me. I'm gonna put it up on the
it's
video.
amazing. Bro, when I watch it now, I feel like a 9-year-old kid sitting in front of his big TV with a PS2. beating SmackDown all over again. Like I remember the
How the hell
song.
do you beat Here Comes the Pain?
It's either Here Comes the Pain or Stretch Your Mind. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna go to my favorites on YouTube, right? And it should be one of my last. It's one of the. Let me go to oldest. Let me go to oldest. Date added oldest. So it should be here, right? Those who break the rules of scum should be somewhere over here, right? Damn, it's not even gonna like go all the way there. Yeah, right. I guess. All right, hold on. Let me see. It is
Yeah,
here.
'cause I'm surprised that game even had like end credits.
It did.
I know they had like a story mode and shit.
I'm gonna show you right now. It's amazing. Nah, just manual. Let's go to manual, right? It's not what I wanted to do. Oh, I go to manual, I guess. All right, I'm going to it right now. All right, can I search here? Is there a search option here? No, there's no search option. All right, just bear with me for a second. I'm finding it right now. I'm finding it. Bear with me. I'm gonna go to right now. Date added newest. All right, what the heck? I don't know why it's not letting me search it. All right, good. Hold on. All right, YouTube, you're all right.
That.
I'm going to it.
SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. Brock Lesnar was on the cover of that
I
one,
know he's
right?
gonna cover that one. If it's not that one, it's another one. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm close. I'm close. I check out my YouTube
I think
favorites.
Triple H was on
Every
there.
it's right
Shut
here.
your mouth.
It was Shut Your Mouth is what it was. I'm sorry, I had a feeling it was one of them. I'm gonna share with you right now.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'll put that in the video thing so they can get a visual of it.
Amazing. I remember bro, I remember watching when I was a kid. It took me so long to find this video, bro. So long. I remember the song. I remember the song, of course. Of course, I remember the song. But I just could not find it for so long. But I'm gonna get back to the point. Yeah, this was like probably the
Yeah,
most
yeah,
memorable end credit I've ever seen. This is like peak nostalgia to me. It made me makes you feel like I'm an actual like little kid again who traversed through time. The thing about nostalgia
yeah.
though, it's a bittersweet feeling because you enjoy it, you enjoy nostalgia, and you enjoy seeing these things. But it just makes you sad. It makes you so sad.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely is a bittersweet feeling. Because like to me, like I get like a mixed feeling. It's like I guess that's what bittersweet is, but it's like I get sad and then also it makes me feel good
Hmm.
too. And it's just like damn, like I don't know, man. I value I really value those moments to where like you can actually like if I play a game and I actually can like just get back immersed just like how I was back then. I hope games get back to a point because they kind of like right now modern gaming is they doing all some weird shit right now. Like it's and when I say they doing some weird shit, I mean as far as like a lot of it is like copy and paste. Like a lot of these games just have like this whole
Hmm.
open world fatigue thing kind of going on where every game feel like they have to be open world. Every game feel like have to be like this checklist kind of thing.
Hmm.
So hopefully we get back to a point to where games are like very like authentic and original, and everybody not just trying to chase a bag.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I I can
So
definitely understand that like you said, it's a bittersweet feeling. It makes you feel both, and it does feel like a lot of games trying to be open world. I don't want every game to be open world. I'm fine with you being a small, contained game. That's perfectly fine to me, bro. You small, I'm
yeah,
fine.
facts.
I'm good, bro. Every game doesn't have to be Fallout. I'm good. I'm good. But an
Facts.
honorable mention to another end credits. The second end credits I probably ever second best I've probably ever seen. This also makes me sad. I don't know if you remember the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 end credits with Bulma looking out the window.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that. I
Makes me
remember
so
that.
sad, bro. Because that in that game, bro, that
Yeah.
game, I've never seen a game do this in my 20 and 30 years of living, bro. That game starts from Goku and Dragon Ball all the way to beating Omega Shenron. Like you could tell they really cared about that
Yeah.
game. So when you beat that game, bro, when you beat that game, bro, you really feel that. Like when you see the credits, you see it looking out the window, you really feel that. Especially since back then, him being Omega Shenron was like the end of Dragon Ball, so you never saw Goku again.
Hmm.
Like you really feel like, damn, that shit that makes you shed a tear, bro. Like that's it, bro.
Yeah, like I guess that's anime is a whole topic in its own. But
Mm,
like we were really invested in Dragon
eh,
Ball. Like that has like its own like whole nostalgia effect to it,
mm-hmm,
just Dragon Ball Z in general. But you talk about those Dragon Ball Z games for a second, man. Like, bro, the amount of characters. I still haven't played the new one, but the amount of
mm-hmm,
characters they used to put in the game, like the love they used to put in those Dragon
mm-hmm,
Ball Z games back then, bro, was just
mm-hmm.
amazing, bro. Like it was just crazy.
The love and the cheese, but mostly the love. The love.
And cheese.
They'd be like,
Yo, do you
this character,
remember? Do you remember the
what?
No, no, go
And
ahead.
they'd be like, this character, we don't have enough moves for this character. So you know what their special is? Full power energy wave.
The volleyball shit. I know
Mm-hmm.
what you're talking about. Yeah, I was gonna say, do you remember the Yu-Gi-Oh game, Duelist of the Roses?
Bro, I watched a video about that game a couple months ago. Bro, that shit, it was like, in a movie scene or like in a TV show, a character has amnesia and they get their memories back and they just, and everything back on. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I was like, I forgot about this. How could I forget about this? I was like, bro, look at this game. How could I forget about this game? I was like, yo, whose idea was this, bro? Who said, let's make a Yu-Gi-Oh game? Oh, so like,
Facts.
the cards and they're battling and you have to win, stars, pipetches? Nah, nah. We ain't gonna do none of that shit. We're gonna make it like ye olden times. I just watched this old movie from about the 1600s. We're gonna do it that way. Oh, okay. I guess, sure.
Boy, so like let's make it a board game
Yeah,
too.
let's make it a board
Like
game.
what the
Like,
fuck?
bro, you sure about this? Yeah, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna go smoke 5 more blunts. I'll be back with some more ideas. Oh, all right, bro. Those are some crazy ideas, bro.
Bro.
Those are some crazy ideas.
Yeah, man. Man, that game was so fun. I remember like you used to be able to like fuse different cards or some shit like
Mm-hmm.
that, and like
No,
yeah,
bro,
and
it
create
wasn't
like
even just
different
using
like
different
different
cards.
combinations.
Remember that they had environments. So you had like it was like a board game, so you could
Yeah,
like play on your environment and your card would get a boost if it's in your like if it's in like your field spell environment.
yeah, that game was sick. I might have to go back and play
Bro, I'm
that.
not gonna lie, that's probably
That
one of
shit
those
was
games I
hard.
can't play again because it's so eerie to me, bro. It's something about that is so strange to me, bro. That's not a bad game, but playing it,
Yeah,
I'm like, this is so weird. Like, you start the game, they're like, hey, do you want to be good or evil? Who do you want to join? Which in itself is a good feature. That's a really good feature.
yeah,
Somebody mentioned,
yeah. I guess also want to go ahead.
nah, go ahead, sorry.
No, no, I was gonna say, I guess I also want to understand the game design aspect
Hmm.
behind it too. Like, I remember it being a board game, but like, how did that even work, bro? Like, what the hell? Like, I'm curious to see like how different that board game version of Yu-Gi-Oh is versus like the traditional Yu-Gi-Oh game.
Hmm.
Like, because like I just remember loving it. I remember it was like such a learning curve to play. Like that shit was hard, bro. And like once you got it and you started understanding it, it was like, yo, this shit is fun as hell.
Somebody also mentioned something about about the old Dragon Ball Z games where you would like fly, like it wouldn't be like a freestyle game or a free roam, but you could fly to whoever you're gonna fight, right? Like the main boss or whatever. And
Hmm.
sometimes when you're looking for them, you'll see like other things pinging on the map. Sometimes there'll be a Cyberman and stuff like that. Sometimes it'll be like a smaller boss, or sometimes it'll be like a movie boss or whatever that you'd see that you'll be surprised about and you fight them. And they were talking about the post that World Dragon Ball Z fan. No, they were like kids today don't remember when when you was you'd see a ping on a map and go to fight someone and realizing it was Brawly and getting and being terrified. And I was like, wow, I forgot about that. I don't know if you remember that, bro. That like you'd go to fly to the boss and like they would have like random pings and you and the ping would be Brawly. You'd be like, I'm not prepared for this. That's when he was like really, really hard to beat. He'd have like 6 health bars.
Yeah, he was like it was like an overworld map,
Hmm.
right? And like his character would be sitting there. Yeah,
That
I
one, I
remember
was
that.
like,
Which one
bro,
was
I can't
that?
remember which one it was, bro. But I'm like, I remember that.
Mm.
I was like,
I
wow,
remember freaking for Budokai too. Remember how that shit was like a board game also, like the map and
bro, that was
everything.
also crazy. I was like, yo, whose idea was this, bro?
Yeah, I remember that shit being super weird at first. I'm like, why did they do this?
It's funny we talk about outside influences in video games because outside influences can also contribute to um nostalgia, even if the gameplay isn't that good, even if the game isn't that good. Like, I don't know if you remember Ragdoll Kung Fu, bro. I've never actually, I don't think I've probably played that game once or twice, but I'll never forget that game because you play the music before you'd go to school. So I'd be waiting for you. I think it would be me, you, and Justin, and we'd all be going to school, and you'd have that song on in the morning. I think Jonathan would be there too, and you playing on the PS5, PS like three, PS3. You playing it,
Yeah,
you playing on
PS3.
you playing the song. I'll never forget that. So it's funny seeing how nostalgia contributed to that.
Yeah, hell yeah. That was like a special time too, where like we were a little bit older, so we used to always just hanging out at the crib, and we used to love playing like multiplayer games. Like we used
Hmm.
to play like Mod Nation Racers,
Hmm.
and I remember we was playing the PlayStation All Star Brawl.
Hmm.
Like there was a lot of like multiplayer games we used to play. Like so, that was like a special time for us. So that shit was
That was
pretty
a real
cool.
special time. Soul Calibur,
Yeah.
Street Fighter. It's funny.
Oh man, don't get me started on Soul Calibur. Yo,
It's funny.
that shit, man.
Playing Street Fighter 5, pretty sure it was Street Fighter 5, right? That came out after like 5 or 6 years. Maybe it was Street Fighter 4. I remember every time I played with Ken, I would try to beat him on his special. And I remember I did that because I was playing you once and you beat me. And when you beat me on his special, you were like, you see the smile? You see the smile? Because they paused on his smile when you beat him. And I was like, I can't believe he beat me with this. But what's worse, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I have to do it from now on.
Yeah, that was Street Fighter
Street Fighter
4. That was Street
4.
Fighter 4.
Yo,
Yeah, facts though. That shit was funny as hell. All right, so I got a question
what's
for you
up?
right here because this one I feel like could go down a nice little rabbit hole. What was the first game that like blew your mind? Like when you see it, like as far as like yeah, the first game that blew your mind, like yo, this is what video games are going, or like yo, like this shit is crazy advanced, like type shit.
I'm not even gonna lie. The first thing that blew my mind was, yeah, I'd probably say Metal Gear Solid, Sons of Liberty. That game, like the story mode, like one thing that blew my mind about that game too is I'm pretty sure it's one of the games where halfway through the game they're like, "Yo, do you like this character Raiden?" You're like, no, who the hell is Raiden? Exactly, play him now. And you're like,
Yeah,
all right, I guess.
yeah.
I didn't want to do this. I wanted to play with Snake, but I guess. And you play Raiden, you're like, wow, he's really cool. I like him now. You like him? Play with Snake now. You're like, okay. And then when they meet, you're like, this game is fire, man. It's a fire game. It's a cool game.
Yeah. It's crazy because that was a big moment back then. Like when I listen to like like video game podcasts and stuff, they talk about like how like Kojima he did not let anybody know like Raiden was going to be the character you playing as. Like everybody thought it was Snake, and he promoted it as Snake, and it had a little like it had a little backlash at first too because people were like yo I want to play with Snake and stuff, but at the end, it's still
Yeah.
considered one of the great games. But that was like a super surprise. And we didn't really internet wasn't really as accessible
Hmm.
back then and shit like that. So you couldn't really go online and get spoiled. Like it was all like new and surprising. So that shit definitely was like crazy. And I can understand why you picked Metal Gear Solid because like Metal Gear Solid was like the first one for PS1. That was the first like that the reason why that game is so critically acclaimed and like so
Hmm.
special is because it's the first game to where like it's one of the first games where you could yo, you could really tell a story with a video game. Like you could really make a video game like a movie. Like a lot of video games were just like before Metal Gear Solid were like a lot of
Hmm.
platformers and like Mario and like the 3D games I was talking about and stuff like that. Like a lot of it was just like gameplay focused. But when Metal Gear Solid came along, it was like, yo, this dude is like directing a
Mm-hmm.
movie. Like
Hmm.
these characters got character development. These like it was real different. So I can understand why you say that for sure.
One of the things that also made it feel so surreal in like a movie is they made the character deaths important. Like when you die, and I think his name was Octagon, he's like Snake, Snake, Snake.
Yeah.
Like even that, you're like, bro,
Yeah.
like you felt that. I remember, like, I was one of the first games I played where they're like, okay, you can go and shoot five people with your gun, but that might not be effective. It would be a lot more effective to throw a rock here or hide in this locker and knock this person out and hide their body. That would be a lot
Hmm.
smarter to shoot the person with a tranquilizer. Oh, but this person might wake up, so you have to beat the level before they wake up. Sure, you can knock them out, but if you knock them out, another person hears it, then what are you gonna do? And you're like, yo, this is like, you really got to do this. What the hell am I gonna do? The other game that blew my mind, like Metal Gear Solid was the first, but another game that blew my mind like entirely was Kingdom Hearts, and completely blew my mind.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
like I remember um playing that game. Now, watching my brother play that game, and I'm like, beach and sand. I guess that's cool. I never really thought about this is like Jack and Dexter or something. Oh, his friend got lost. That's interesting. Is that Mickey Mouse? Kind of strange. Is that Tarzan? Oh, is that Simba? I was like, you got me. I'm all in, boys. You got me. You got me.
I'm all in, boys.
I was fully immersed.
You talk about Kingdom Hearts for a second, because Kingdom Hearts was a special, special thing, bro. Like not only was that game like the Disney characters and then the gameplay and the combat, but like I feel
The
like
music.
for that was like the music, everything. That was like Final Fantasy VII
Hmm.
for our generation. Like if you go back and talk to like a lot of like older heads when they were older and they was playing Final Fantasy VII, that's when they like really experienced like a certain kind of like anime story
Hmm.
in their game. Bro, the story in that game was like fire, bro. Like it was like the voice acting was amazing, like bro, like I have this memory of Kingdom Hearts 2. Because I remember one of my friends put me on the Kingdom Hearts. Like I didn't really know what it was, and one of my friends he put me on. He's like, "Yo, you should play this game, Kingdom Hearts." I'm like, I looked it up. I got one of the magazines. I seen it in the magazines. I played Kingdom Hearts 1, and Kingdom Hearts 1 was really fun. My cousin, I never actually beat that game. To this day, I never beat Kingdom Hearts 1 because I got really far and my cousin deleted my save.
Yeah,
And then back then you get your save deleted,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
It's
It's over. It's
over.
over.
Like
It's
it's like,
over.
all right, yeah,
It's over. Yeah, no going back. It's over.
it's over. Yeah, so I was like, fuck that, bro. I ain't going back to play that. But Kingdom Hearts 2 holds like a really, really special place in my heart, bro. Like I remember I used to have like the little small CRT TVs, like the small ones. They like really small, tiny TVs. Where it used to just have it had the yellow and the red and the white cord in the front.
Hmm.
Bro, I put that, I had like how my closet was, like the closet, I built like a little computer room.
Hmm.
When the Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, bro, I put a blanket in there. I put that TV in there. I had my PS2, and I did that as like made like a little camp out, like a little camping thing in that closet, bro. And I was playing Kingdom Hearts 2, bro, for words, bro. Like I was like fully lost and immersed in like the story. It's that's one of my favorite games of all time. That game is just amazing. And like let's not forget the opening, like Sanctuary.
Bro.
Come on, come on,
Bro,
one of the
they
best openings
had
of all
two, but
time,
that's
boy.
the thing, bro. They had two banger openings. They had Simple and Clean. Bro,
Yeah,
mind you, I was a little kid. I had a
Simple
little,
and Clean.
I never
Yeah,
heard a song like that. But that's one of those songs you hear. I like I'm pretty sure that there are songs like this, bro. There are songs you hear in the first 5 seconds you like, this song's a banger. It's a banger. It's the first 5 seconds, the song's a banger. I know it's a banger. And then like the
yeah.
first 5 seconds, Simple and Clean. Even now, bro, I'll put that shit on and Mariah, my sister, will start singing. Even she knows a banger, bro. A immediate banger.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts is
And you're
special,
like, okay,
special, special
how
game.
can they top this? And they're like, we got you right now. Sanctuary.
Hell yeah.
Like that game, I'd say that's at the time, that was probably the most well-rounded game I'd ever played. It had gameplay, it had story, it had characters, and it had the music.
Hmm.
A lot of games we played that we're
Yeah,
talking about like nostalgia about didn't have a lot of music. I mean, they didn't have all of that. I mean, didn't have all of that.
yeah. That shit was like an anime. Like before I actually like I was dedicated to watching anime. That was like playing an anime.
Hmm.
You feel me?
Hmm.
For sure.
And it's funny, um, thinking about it now because there were not a lot of games we played when we were younger that had good music. Like,
Nah, for real, for real.
like I remember when trailers for games were coming out, and they'd have like good music, and because we weren't used to that, that would like that would like enamor us toward toward the games, even though before we weren't really interested. Like a game I'd say also had really good music. Obviously Sonic, right? Like Sonic always had good music, but a game I'd say had good music
Hmm.
would be Halo. Halo was the Halo's one of the best.
Yeah.
That simple opera sound, bro. You felt like you were right there with Master Chief.
But and then the Halo commercials.
Yo,
Oh
the Halo
man.
come, bro. I still watch them sometimes, bro. Halo 3 commercial, fire. Halo ODST commercial, bro. That's
Yeah.
legit like the best video game commercial I've ever
Fine.
seen, bro.
Yeah.
Amazing, bro. Amazing.
Yeah.
You know the
I
commercial,
mean, look, think about even commercials had heart back then.
bro.
But what's the
You
other
know the
one?
commercial I still watch sometimes. And the music, like I said, the music was amazing,
Hmm.
and the trailer was amazing. Bayonetta, I still watch that, bro.
Oh, yo, that shit was
Bro,
fire.
it was
I forgot about
amazing,
that.
bro. I remember when you watched it the
Going there
first
for the
time,
kill.
like, what is this? What's funny?
Yeah, bro.
You know the first thing I remember about it? The Peggy 18. And I was like, what the heck is this? What the heck
Yeah.
is this? They started playing the music. I was like, all right, yeah, got me. Yeah, got me. I'm in. I'm in. Yeah, I win.
Yeah. A trailer could sell you on the game back then. You know, another trailer I remember a lot, they used to always come on TV,
What?
was the Dante's Inferno
Bro,
trailer.
of course, bro. I still watch that sometimes, bro. They were playing Ain't No Sunshine, bro.
Yeah.
I still think about that shit sometimes.
Yeah.
I still think about that shit.
That shit was hard, boy.
Damn, they see,
Oh, yeah, trailers.
bro, trailers did a great job back then, bro. They did an amazing job.
Yeah. The Gears of War
The
trailer.
Gears of War, I forgot
Boy,
about that. Gears of War 3 trailer. How
that
could I
shit was
forget
hard.
about that?
Yeah.
See, like I said, music and games, they they like definitely played a part in enamoring us toward the games we liked. There's a game I remember for PlayStation. Well, all right, I'm gonna tell you a game for PlayStation, right? And after this, as a matter of fact, before I go into that, you tell me two games that blew your mind.
All right. So my first one, boy, boy, oh boy. My first one is Grand Theft Auto
Grand
3,
Theft Auto
bro.
3?
Like yeah, I have such vivid memory of this because I feel like there was like a time skip or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's probably because it's my first time experiencing PS2 or something. But I feel like there was some sort of time skip. Like I was like, yo, just yesterday I was playing Donkey Kong 64 and like playing like these polygon games and shit like that. And then, bro, I went to my cousin's house. He put on Grand Theft Auto 3, and just like I'm like, yo, like there's like there's this open world, bro. I'm able to drive the car. I'm able to beat up people. I'm able to like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like you had complete freedom, like the shit, and then the graphics was crazy. Like it was like to this mind, to this day, that shit just like blows my
Mm-hmm.
mind because like I said, I feel like it was a time skip. Like it felt like I was just playing Super Nintendo, and now I'm playing this 3D game where I'm like able to go anywhere. You got buildings, you got this crazy
You
story
got
with
you
voice
got cheat
development.
codes.
Yeah, like the cheat. Oh man, cheat codes is like a whole nother.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a whole other thing. With cheat codes used to really be late. But like that, bro, that shit, like that game is like a lot of people would say that too. Like that's like one of those games where like there was a big jump,
Mm-hmm.
and that was also like I'm pretty sure that's also the first game to really like define open world games. Like that was the first actual open world
Hmm.
game. And I just have such fond memories of like just playing that game for the first time and just being like just like yo, like this shit is just crazy. Like I can't believe this is where we at in video games. Like I can't believe it.
I
Like
have a question.
I can't
Before
believe
you
it.
go into your second
Yeah.
game, was it like that for every GTA for you? Like Vice City, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5? Or like the feelings start waning after a while?
Well, it was like that for Grand Theft Auto 3. Like I would say Grand Theft Auto 3 and San Andreas, but there are two different feelings.
Hmm.
So for Grand Theft Auto 3, that was my it was like that because it was like the first time actually playing an open world game and like just like like I never experienced anything like that before.
Hmm.
Then with San Andreas was also like that because not only was it a black character, so it was like a little more you could like there really wasn't much black characters or black
Hmm.
stories back then. And even though it was a gangster story and stuff like that, it was still black people. So that on its own was like really like was like yo like this shit crazy. Like I feel like I'm told looking like one of my uncles or something. Like this shit crazy. But then also like just the story was just like fire. CJ was an amazing character. I'm also pretty sure that I never really have experience. I don't have experience with Vice City, but I don't think the character in Vice City really talked.
Now he did,
So CJ
but
talked.
but
He talked.
he talked, but the difference was CJ talked like our family talked at the time. CJ talked like a real
Yeah,
person that we
yeah.
knew.
Yeah, boy. So like it was like I remember I also like I said I also have that game kind of blew my mind because of that. It was like, yo, this is and then like just a lot of the mechanics in it too. Like you were able to like dual wield guns. They had the stat system to where
You
like
could
you were able
weight
to
lift.
work out and actually get get strong. You could get fat if you eat too much food. Like and then the cheat codes in that was just crazy. Like the cars fly cheap, the
The
jetpacks,
story
you could
will,
get like all
and
airplanes and
another
shit.
thing
The
too,
story was
they
like
put a lot of effort into the story. The story
fire.
was like grounded. Like, okay, a guy, I'm pretty sure his
Yeah.
mom got killed, right? Was it his mom?
Yeah, he came back to San
Yeah.
Andreas because of his
His,
mom
his
died
mom
and shit
died.
like
You
that.
try to figure out,
Yeah.
it's like a mystery, trying to figure out what happened. Then you find out it's your friend. I think, was it both of your friends or two of them? I know it was Ryder, right? Or was it Big Smoke?
I think it was right. I think it was both of them because Ryder was doing some such shit. I know Big Smoke was working with the ballers, and I think he the one who set up getting your mom get killed. I don't remember exactly because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
I beat that game.
Do
So
you remember the mission with
yeah, bro.
your sister's boyfriend?
Oh yeah, the Spanish
Yeah.
dude. Yeah,
Where you actually like,
and you had to do the
yeah,
low. That's the low rider
yeah.
mission, right?
Mm.
Yeah, I remember that.
Ye-
Remember the
Yeah, I was
train
about to
mission?
say, come on, CJ,
That's like a
all
whole
I had to do is
meme.
follow the damn train.
The train, yeah. That's like a meme, boy. Oh my goodness.
That's hilarious.
Hell yeah. So,
I feel like for me,
so yeah,
I, um,
hmm
I'm gonna let you get back to the second one, but before you get up topic Grand Theft Auto, um, Vice City gave me that feeling. I liked Vice City a lot. I don't know what it is, bro. Like for me, it was. You can hear my phone drop. You can hear me?
yeah, I hear
Yeah,
you.
for me it was the cars. The cars were amazing in that game. Like the scooters and not the colors. That was what it was too. GTA 3 was cool, but it was like very gray and muted. The colors in Vice City, it was colorful. Like they had like
Yeah,
Ferraris that could go fast. The colors were crazy. They had scooters. They had motorcycles. You could jump over ramps. You go into clubs and dance. I think one of the first missions.
yeah,
You got to chase someone down. I remember, I think one of the first mission in the game, he's talking to his bosses, and he's like, something happened where they're like, you owe us for this. And he's like, don't worry about it. I'm going to find those F words that did this. I'm going to cut their dicks off personally and mail them to you. And I'll never forget that. I was like, what the hell is this? And then you go into the world and you got all these colorful cars and all these things you could do. And I was like, wow,
yeah.
this is nice. But that game also gave me that feeling like, damn, once you complete the missions, what can you do? And I don't know, bro. For me, that's just like a lonely feeling to me, bro. That feeling in games, that just makes me feel eerie. Like I didn't like that. Like I love the game, but I didn't like that. Like, damn, I finished this. Now what?
Yeah, I mean, I get that, boy, because it's like you dedicate a lot of time
Yeah.
into to the game and
And,
shit. And like once it's over, it's like,
and
damn,
at the
it's
time
over.
we were kids, so it's like, yeah, bro, bro, you had to beg your mom for this game. You ain't getting another one. So he's like, damn.
Hell
But
yeah.
yeah, what's your second one? Your second game that blew your mind.
You know, I couldn't think of it, but I just thought about it, and it's probably more if I actually think about think about more of it. But this one right here for sure blew my mind, and that's Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2,
Here we go again with this. Oh,
bro,
yeah, boy, here we go with this open world thing again. But it's like, bro, you're Spider-Man, and you're
bro,
able to like literally swing around the whole city, and like that shit was just
bro, that's a
crazy. It
whole
was
other
super
topic though,
immersive.
bro. Um, movie games,
Facts, though,
bro,
facts.
movie games.
We're gonna save
Yeah,
that.
we're
We're
gonna
gonna
save
save
that.
that.
But yeah, Spider-Man 2 specifically, bro, like you could, yeah, you could swing around the city, and they actually had side missions. That's what made it so good, bro. They had side missions.
Yeah. That you just rescue the little do the side missions,
What
rescue
part of that
people. Like
game blew
that
your
shit was
mind?
fire, bro.
Or like,
Just the fact that I was Spider
yeah,
Man, because I used to I remember playing the other Spider Man
yeah,
games. Like
yeah.
I played the ones for PS1, and I also played the original Spider Man game. And I don't know if you remember, but you remember you couldn't go on the ground on the street. You would just have to stay in the air, and like at the street level was just like fog and stuff. So even if you fall down there, I'm pretty sure I don't even think you could fall down there. I think you would just keep swinging.
hmm
It would just never develop. And even the PS1 versions of Spider-Man games, like you only could stay on the rooftops, like you couldn't go on the street and shit. So when I was able to like go walk on the street and see the cars and see the people and stuff like that, like bro, that shit was just like wow, like they really this is Spider-Man
hmm
right here. Like I really felt like I was Spider-Man in that shit.
You know, you know,
That
so I
shit
remember
was
from that
fire.
game. I remember you told me you had the same experience as me. You said you were finding out the octopus and you couldn't beat him, so you started crying. Your mom was like, "Turn this game off. You crying over a game?"
Yeah. Yeah, I never forget that, bro. She was like, oh, you gonna turn that damn game off if you gonna be crying. Bro, I was tight fighting Doc Ock, bro. He was hard as hell back then.
That yo, that's hilarious. That's
Remember the pizza, even the pizza mission, you
bro.
remember that shit?
You you thought you were good, and you look at the pizza, and it's just crumpled, and you're like, "Well, I guess I'll start this over."
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely my second one. Did you say your second one?
Um, the second one I said was Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, okay,
You,
okay, yeah.
do you have do you have like a niche game that a lot of people probably don't remember, but you do that's nostalgic to you?
A niche game.
Like for me, there was this Bruce Lee game for Xbox. I don't think anybody remembers that shit, bro.
The Bruce. I remember the Jet Li games. I don't remember the Bruce Lee games.
Was it Jet Li? I'm pretty. Let me see. Let me tell you right now. Bruce Lee game. Let me see. Bruce Lee game. Xbox. Was it this one?
That Jet Li game was
No,
hard.
it was Bruce Lee.
Oh,
Quest of the Dragon.
it was Bruce Lee.
I'm pretty sure. All right, let me see. Jet Li game. Xbox. Let me see.
When we talk about movie games, we gotta talk about Matrix. Like, I ain't gonna talk
Yeah,
about
yeah. That's a whole nother topic,
the
bro.
Matrix games, boy. Yeah.
Whole nother topic. Whole nother topic, bro.
Oh shit.
But nah. Um, it was a Bruce Lee game. It was a Bruce Lee game. I remember watching my cousin play on Xbox, and I remember
Bruce.
eventually I started playing. I'm watching my cousin play and watching. I remember watching Reggie play this too. Yeah, look at this, bro. This brings back so many memories. Quest of the Dragon.
I'm gonna put a video of it. I'm gonna put the
That's
video of it
hilarious.
when I upload it to YouTube.
Let me see. Make sure.
Yeah, I never played that before. I never played Bruce Lee.
Yeah, bro. That's why I said this. What's the name? That's why I said of a real niche game that
Yeah.
a lot of people probably don't remember. Pretty funny. What about for you though?
Yeah.
Which one do you have?
I mean, I used to play like uh I guess I was gonna say a Champions in the Raw because that's like this RPG game. But I don't know if that's really niche. What I'm gonna say is like I remember playing my first like when I started getting into PC gaming a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. Like, it used to be like these strategy games on PC. It was called Tropico, and you used to create. You had to create your own city. Like you're like a president. You create your own city, and like you know what I'm saying, shit like that. You manage the city. You got to make sure you growing food for the villagers and shit like
Mm-hmm.
that. Like I feel like maybe there was like a certain crowd who really really like those games, but the people I used to hang out with, that I guess that could be considered niche to them. But
Mm-hmm.
I used to love that game, and that sparked like the reason why I love those strategy sim games to this day, like fucking City Skylines or Sim City and Roller Coaster Tycoon. Like that was another one I used to love playing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I remember this PS2 game like. Bro, like, watch when I show you, because I'm gonna upload video to this game. You're like, what the hell is this? What the hell was this dude playing? But it was called, it was called Metro Plasmania or some shit like that. And you're like a mayor, and you're like in this 3D world. It was on PS2, and you have like this chalkboard, and you like building a city, like you building roads on the city, and you got to build like shops or in this town. You like, because you're the mayor, and you build shops, and you got to navigate like the prices of the shops and stuff like that. That was like super niche, and I remember playing that game for hours. Like that shit was super fun. So like that game definitely makes me feel nostalgic. And when you see the art of this game, because I'm gonna show you the video for it. When you see the art of it, bro, it's like just that art style is just nostalgic, bro. Like that little early PS2 game shit. But yeah, that shit is definitely niche.
All right, I'm gonna ask you one last question because I want to make this too long, and we can finish this topic tomorrow
Yeah,
another
yeah.
time. All right.
Right.
See, all right. I was about to ask you a long. I'm not gonna ask you a long question. One of your favorite games was Getting Up. How did you get into that game? And do you think you still, do you think if you played that today, you still enjoy it? Also, another question following up that. Would you rather have them remake that game or make a sequel?
So I played Getting Up like a couple weeks ago. Just I played that game a couple weeks ago. I fucking love that game. Um, I never forget playing that game, bro. Like I remember, like my mom took me to the game store. I had 60 beans,
Uh-huh.
60 beans, and this is back when games like you could go and you could just pick random games, and some shits could be a banger.
Uh-huh.
So I had 60 beans, and it was like $20 games were on sale. So it was a bunch of I bought three $20 games. The three games I bought Resident Evil 4 because I never. This is when Resident Evil 4 went to the PS2. If I'm not mistaken, Resident Evil 4 launched on GameCube. So I think it came out a little after on
Uh-huh.
PS2. So I bought Resident Evil 4 on PS2. I bought Getting Up. I had no idea what this game was about. It just looked cool. I wasn't even really that much into graffiti. It just looked like a cool
Uh-huh.
game. And I bought 25 to Life. And because 25 to Life was I like San Andreas, and I seen 25 to Life, and I'm like, oh, maybe I bought those because they had black people. Both of those games, I just realized both of those games had black people. But I went home, I played 25 to Life. That shit was mids. Played Resident Evil 4. That's one of my favorite games of all time too. And then Getting Up, which is also not one of my favorite games. Bro, I guess it was just the story. The story is just like amazing. The music is really really good. Like they got Shook Ones in that game by Mobb
Uh-huh.
Deep. They got another Mobb Deep song. They got this song by Farrah March that get the no, it's not that one. It's a song by Farrah March. I forgot what song it is. They got that song in there, and just the story was like just really 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 fiery. Like you start this you're like trying to get your rep up, and the voice acting was really really good. I like the character Train a lot. Um, it was just that game is just amazing, and I still play it. I can still play it to this day, and I still do play it
Really?
to this day. Because yeah, hell yeah, bro. Because it's a unique game. There's not even to this day. There's no game that's out like that's like Getting Up. Like I love that game. Um, whether I'd rather them make a remake or a part two, that's really difficult to answer because a part two can end up being mids. So I think I would rather a remake. I'd rather a remake with like modern with modern graphics and shit. Yeah, I think I would rather a remake for that one. But yeah, man, that game still holds up, bro. Like that and like that game got me like really into graffiti. I started watching graffiti movies. Like my nickname is Blessed. Like that's my artist
Uh-huh.
name and just like my YouTube name and shit like that. And that comes from a graffiti movie. And I watched that graffiti movie because of Getting Up. and I've been going by Blessed for like over 10, 15
Hmm.
years now. So like that game sparked a lot of like a lot of personality in me and who I am today.
It's funny because if you actually about that game, that's probably one of those games that have a a cult following. Like it might not have sold too well, it might not be known to that many people, but to the fans it does have, it has like they have really fond memories of it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely a strong co-following for it. Like, like I'm on a Reddit page, so I like, but I love that game, bro. It's just so amazing, so amazing. And it had real, like, it had, you would like go around and you would take pictures, like it was like a collectible, but you would take pictures of like actual known graffiti artists in real life.
Hmm.
So you would take pictures of their art and stuff like that. Like it was cool, man. That game was so cool.
That that's very
I guess
true.
that's a perfect way to describe it too. It was just cool. It was just
Hmm.
cool. You know, like it had that cool factor
Hmm.
to it. Like you playing with trains, you got tens on and shit. You on the train spraying graffiti. Like that shit was just cool, bro.
Felt like real New York.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like I was addicted to that game.
All right. Well, we're gonna cap it off there because this episode is over an hour long. We could probably split it into
Yeah, yeah.
parts,
I think
but
nah. I'm gonna put this whole thing up. I think this is a good length
hmm.
for episode. I think we did a good job. This is the first episode of fuck. I already forgot the name of
Oh
the
my gosh,
podcast.
bro. Come on, bro.
Oh, Rewind Radio.
Yeah,
This
come on, bro. Oh my
is
God.
the first episode of Rewind. First episode of Rewind Radio. I mean, we just
Yeah,
came up with the name. I fuck
yeah.
with it too. I fuck with it. So first episode of Rewind
We got a
Radio.
lot more video game
It
topics
was
to
really good, man.
talk about too. A lot more like the
Yeah, yeah,
movies and
lot,
video games.
yeah,
Still some music and certain
yeah,
games. How you feel
yeah.
if
And
you
I feel like
played some of these games again? Like,
we didn't
we didn't what?
we didn't even touch on like PSP game, like PSP,
Yeah,
fucking Game Boy
Game
Advance,
Boy Advance.
link cables,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, shit
Like
like that. So
even like the specific games, like because I want to talk about some of these games specifically too.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And as we go on, there's gonna be other topics too.
Hmm.
Like I said, like with sitcoms, I also want to talk about this black sitcoms we used to watch back in the day, or like the cartoons, you know, like The Simpsons,
Hmm.
the WB11, Static Shock, Jackie Chan Adventures, those kind of cartoons and shit like
Hmm.
that. I want to talk about old snacks, you know what I'm saying? The crazy hair candy we used to eat back in the day. You know, just all those things that like represent nostalgia
Hmm.
you know, for us back in those times. So,
Certain foods that
now
we
this is a great conversation,
certain
man.
foods you ate when we were younger that you talk to people about when you got older and they were
Hell
like, "You ate what?" And you were like, "Ah, I see what's happening. My fault."
yeah.
Yeah, definitely,
Right.
definitely,
Now, this is a great conversation, man.
definitely. We can definitely leave it here. You want to do it again tomorrow?
Uh, let's give it some time. Let's give it some time because I want to make a
Yeah,
you know, make
yeah,
the
yeah.
video version and stuff like that.
Um,
You know, so I would say either say this is probably gonna be a weekly or bi-weekly podcast because I want to make sure we stay on a good schedule.
all right, all right. It can honestly be weekly. I like weekly. It's not a problem at all.
Yeah, yeah.
If you need any help with the videos, I have a lot of things in my YouTube favorites, bro.
All right, bet.
All right, bye. I'm gonna let you go, bro. It's nice talking to you.
You already know, man. That was the first episode of Rewind Radio. All right, we out, man.
New Radius used to be alive, brimming with culture. That was the golden age. Word. I wish I was smart enough to appreciate that then. But now, they're watching, looking at our every move. New Radius isn't very friendly to graph artists. If they catch you, it's a wrap. And if they don't, be ready to run. Forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. New radius isn't very friendly to graph artists. Watching, looking at our every move. That was the golden age. New radius used to be alive, brimming with culture. Looking at our every move. Be ready to run, they're watching.